But once I got a few years back, I didn't mean it. It was about that.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Abu Hassan Kuroma from Sierra Leone, and I'm also the publisher and editor-in-chief for SLPP Today magazine, the media that enhances and brings together the thought of the Sierra Leone People's Party and try to propagate a positive image for Sierra Leone into the international arena. Today I'm here with Ambassador Umaru Bundu Wurie, who is also the Director General and Ambassador at Large for the Republic of Sierra Leone. Ambassador Wurie is here in the United States attending a conference to which he has been invited by members of Congress of the United States body. I happened to catch up with Ambassador Wurie and to sit down with him to discuss why he is here at this conference and to tell me a little bit about himself and what he's been working on and what he plans to work on in the future. Welcome to SLPP Today, Ambassador Wurie.
Thank you very much.
I see you have been in the United States for a few days now attending a conference. Can you please tell us a little bit about this conference?
Well, this is a conference organized by the United States Senate. They call it Breakfast Prayer. It's the 55th one. It's a national issue for them, and they have been doing it for the last 55 years. And they invite people from over 160 countries. Mm-hmm. Some prime ministers were there, some ministers were there from other countries, mm-hmm. and even the President of the United States mm-hmm. attended the Breakfast Prayer. Mm-hmm. They see it as a way of asking God to help the country mm-hmm. and praying for leadership mm-hmm. in the country and national leaders mm-hmm. in other countries. So they believe by coming together mm-hmm. and sharing together, it's one way that they can be able to get people to understand themselves mm-hmm. and the United States mm-hmm. and try to work in harmony. Mm-hmm. And the idea is really exposing the US people to the international community mm-hmm. and to make sure that they follow suit, mm-hmm. that God is the key to whatever we want to do. Mm-hmm. And that's the idea of this breakfast meeting.
That must be a very important meeting. And realizing that the United States is more leaned towards the Christian evangelical faith, and you being a Muslim from a country that is one of the most religiously harmonious, how do you feel about this kind of thing happening, and what do you think might be a positive repercussion on the United States and also those attending from other countries?
Well, interestingly, it was not featured more like being a Christian, but it was like Jesus Christ, mm-hmm. which of course is also in the Quran mm-hmm. as Anabi Isa. Mm-hmm. And what they were saying, you follow the teachings of Anabi Isa mm-hmm. or Jesus Christ, mm-hmm. the way he wanted things to be done, the way he was doing things. Mm-hmm. So they are not going in terms of being a Christian, because I can give an example. Even Benazir Bhutto, the former Prime Minister mm-hmm. of Pakistan, uh-huh. was given to read a passage uh-huh. in one of the settings. Mm-hmm. So it is a way of saying that there should be harmony uh-huh. with all religions. Uh-huh. And since in the Quran there is a Nabi Isa or uh-huh. Jesus Christ, uh-huh. and they only go by the word Jesus Christ, mm-hmm. they were not saying a Christian mm-hmm. or Muslim. Mm-hmm. So it's an interfaith kind of a situation, uh-huh. but then not stressing the fact of Christianity.
That is really interesting. How long are you going to be at this conference?
Well, we are finishing tomorrow, and I'll take 2 days off, and then I take off again to go back to my country.
Okay. And you are here officially in your capacity as the Director General and Ambassador at Large in Sierra Leone. Is that correct?
Well, I have been invited under that capacity.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, as Director General and Ambassador at Large, what does your job entail?
Well, first of all, my job entails quite a few things. Mm-hmm. In the sense that I am the administrative head of the foreign ministry.
Okay.
And therefore, the jurisdiction of our embassies come under my portfolio. The jurisdiction of other embassies in my country comes under my portfolio.
Okay.
And my job is to direct
Okay.
the affairs of the foreign ministry, both internally and externally,
Okay.
and also to advise my minister
Okay.
and possibly even government in terms of our foreign relations
Okay.
and how we go about achieving what is good for our country.
Okay. Talking about foreign relations, I see that you have a very impressive resume, which entails a lot of experiences. But I want to first look at the foreign relations of Sierra Leone within the Africa situation, the African foreign relations. And specifically, I want to see what you think about the growing harmony and friendship between Sierra Leone and the People's Jamahiriya, that is Libya.
Well, I think Libya has been of help to Sierra Leone lately, despite what has happened in the past. And Sierra Leone, coming out of a war, is looking for friends that are willing to help it. And this is why I believe President Kaba extended his relationship so closely with Libya in trying to help Sierra Leone. It is not in anything personal, but trying to bring benefit to the country. And I don't think there's any problem with it. Because when you look at the West, today they are also rushing to Libya, trying to make friends with Libya. So I think our foreign policy then is in line with what we want for our country.
And talking more in that area, we know that we are a nation that has just come out of war. And more so, we are neighbor to another nation that has just also come out of war. And just next door, there have been a looming crisis. How does that affect the situation in Sierra Leone? And how does that situation in Sierra Leone affect that of Liberia? In short, I'm trying to look at what is there hope for continuous sustainable peace in the Mano River Union from your perspective in the area of diplomacy?
I think there is. Liberia, in the sense, is almost stable now compared to what it used to be. The problem in Guinea can be sorted out. President Kaba, as a matter of fact, has been involved in trying to bring a peaceful settlement in the situation in Guinea. Because, as you just stated, it is true, if there's a problem in Guinea, we face a daunting situation that could affect our stability because of the influx of people. As you may be aware, our economy is still fragile. We're only trying to build it now. So if you have a large people coming in that manner, we will be affected. And that will bring us some problem economically and even the stability as well. So this is why I believe it is in our own interest to help to bring the situation in Guinea under control and possibly in a peaceful settlement so that we will avoid the influx of refugees that would come to the country and causing us problem.
Now, talking about refugees, the Sierra Leone war, went on for too long, and that created a huge number of refugees. Not only Sierra Leoneans, but also other people from the neighboring countries coming to Sierra Leone. There has been a scattered number of Sierra Leoneans across West Africa. Some of them have returned, others are still out there waiting to return. What do you have for people like that listening to this conversation now, or who will have the opportunity to listen to this conversation? What do you have for them that will make them decide to pack their bundles and return back to Sierra Leone at this time?
First and foremost, the security, which was not there. Security is now there, and they ran away because there was no security. Number two, the government has gone all out to help resettle people. And the settlement program went very well with the support of the international community. And we believe people who want to come back, I think they are most welcome to come back, because government has, in one way or the other, contacted IOM, that is International Migration Office, to help those who want to come back. UNHCR is also doing that, UNICEF. So there are bodies that the government has contacted that have been helping in trying to resettle these people. So it is left with them to see whether they want to come back or not. But government is willing to take everybody who is a Sierra Leonean, a genuine Sierra Leonean, who wants peace and who wants to come back being peaceful.
You know, you talk about security, and you are rightly correct to say that security, the lack of security drove away Sierra Leoneans. How does the security situation feel now? And what do you think it will feel like come 2007 as elections are drawn closer?
I believe security in the country is there to stay. I give an example. When the Crown Prince of Norway visited Sierra Leone, he did not use any helicopter. He traveled by road to Kono. He came back at night. I mean, you can never imagine what would have been if there was no security.
Exactly.
They would not even allow him to come to Sierra Leone.
Exactly.
The German president came to Sierra Leone and spent 4 nights there. They went up to Gundama, they went, so many places also. They went to Kono. And he came with about 100 people. If there was no security, I don't think those people will come to that country.
Okay.
We have had examples of people that could never have been to Sierra Leone if security was not there. And also even us, we go up country, we travel at night. Any time of the night, people can travel in the country now.
Yes.
I think that shows the sign of stability and security we have. Come the 2007 election, I also believe government is put machinery that will help the people, because one, we don't allow teaching in the election. I think that's one step.
Okay.
Because when elections are going to be free and fair, it reduces a lot of friction.
Yes.
Unlike when the people think, I am not going to be allowed, I am going to be robbed. Then those are where the tension build up.
Yeah.
But in fact, this time, for example, for the SLPP, it is said that your people will give you as a candidate, but not the party to decide who is going to be a candidate for a region. Simply because the fact remains also that if the people say this is the one we want, then definitely they will vote for that person.
Exactly.
But if you put somebody they don't want, of course, they will not vote for that person.
Exactly.
And so this is why I believe it's a good start that the people will be electing their members who are going to be contesting for the elections.
Well, as I said again earlier, you have a very impressive resume. Not a lot of people will be privy to reading your resume, but if somebody that doesn't know Umaru Bundu Wurie and happens to run into you and say, "Who are you?" What can you tell that person?
Well, I can simply say I am a Sierra Leonean who is interested in my country, who wants to serve my country, who had served my country, and who had made a lot of progress in helping my country to move forward.
Now, you talk about service to your country. And I know, based on the little I have read about you, that this service goes way, way back. Could you elaborate on some of the services to your country and the implications, positively, that they have had on the country?
Well, I can safely say that when I served at Mile 91, the relics are still there today from a Bosi project. One of the IADPs that is integrated agricultural development project that has things they left behind that are still available today for use.
Now you talk about Mabosi project. What was it exactly?
It was an integrated agricultural development project which provided support to farmers, which provided feeder roads, which provided drinking water by making wells, and of course given credit to farmers to be able to be more productive. We built marketing centers where they can also come and do rice milling, and we stores for them as well. And as I said, most of our structures are still there. For example, when you come to Mile 91, the compound we built, it was used by the army during the war, and today Salcos is using this because they are responsible for making the road between Masheka and Bo. And if you go back there today, it's something very useful to them. This is an example of what good work we have done to have left those items, and they're still there. You talk about Magbas. When I was Magbas, it was during my time that Magbas actually paid money to government.
And what is Magbas?
Magbas is a sugar company that plants sugar cane harvest sugar cane and produce sugar and ethanol and sold to the public.
So you work for the Mabas company?
I did.
In what capacity?
As co-manager.
As co-manager.
That's
And
right.
then as co-manager, during your era,
Yes.
the Mabas company was able to turn around profit to be able to pay back to government.
That's right.
That's very impressive.
That's right.
That's very impressive. Now, that is what you did within Sierra Leone. When did you become an ambassador, or when did you get first chance, opportunity to become an ambassador to represent Sierra Leone?
I was
outside?
appointed December 1988,
December 1988.
and my first station was Nigeria. And during my time in Nigeria, of course, the war broke out in Sierra Leone. And successive governments knew the part I played for Nigeria to help us. I even went to Sierra Leone with Abacha in a way of trying to convince him to be part of Babangida to help our problems in Sierra Leone. And Nigeria became our main supporter and our main backers. And I contributed a lot to that, I can say.
So you have just touched on a very important issue here. Before I digress, I need us to look at that. That during the time you were in Nigeria, the war in Sierra Leone broke out, and you played a major role in getting Nigeria involved in that war.
Yes.
That is a very impressive. I wonder how many people know about this. I think this is an opportunity for you to really elaborate on the role, because people don't understand behind scenes that happen for major impacts to happen to a country. Could you please elaborate a little bit on the Nigerian situation?
One of the reasons I think it is not good to be shouting is because you're not going to be praised. I think self-satisfaction, to me, I believe is better than shouting and let people hear the shouting you're shouting. People who matter knew my activities, and I want it to stay that way, because I don't want people to feel I'm bragging for what I have done. No, I think I serve my country well, and I want to continue serving my country in a way that the country benefits to what I do. I think I prefer it that way.
That is very, very impressive. That is very, very impressive. After Nigeria,
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
How long did you serve in Saudi Arabia?
Saudi, I was there for 3 years, and it was very interesting. I think the people that served with me, they will agree with me that there was a time when we get to Saudi, when you used to say Sierra Leone, they say Sri Lanka. And during my period, we were able to change that completely.
So you were able to get the Saudis to understand that there is a nation called Sierra Leone.
And at the same time, we established a school which was helping Sierra Leoneans as well. Because schools in Saudi are very expensive. And many of our people have their children, they cannot go to school, especially English school. And so by establishing that school, many of them were able to go to school. I think it was closed after I left, but then one of the people who was a teacher, I encouraged him to continue in a private capacity, Mr. Ismail, to teach our people, and he's still doing it today.
That is great. So after Saudi Arabia,
Germany.
Germany.
Yes.
How long did you serve in Germany?
I think I was there the longest. Nigeria was about 5 years. Germany, I think, was almost 8 years.
Wow. And what was some of the achievements that you can relate to during the service in Germany?
Quite a few also. I think through the help of the president, I was much involved with Germany trying to help us with the DDR program, and they did. Get Italy back to help us with Bumbuna, and they did. And I not only stopped there, I brought OPEC back to Sierra Leone in order to assist us, because I was also covering Vienna, where OPEC is based. And a lot of the UN agencies like WFP, FAO, I was able to get them to be very interested in helping Sierra Leone, just after our crisis, because I was fortunate to be elected to serve as a member of the executive board of WFP and FAO as well. And so using that official capacity, I was able to get us UN agencies to pay attention to our country after the war.
Let's hold on, yeah. Let's get a glass of water. I see you having a cricket voice, but okay, we can continue now.
Yeah. You know, so as I said, I even in Saudi, I was able to get the Islamic Development Bank to be involved in Sierra Leone, the Kuwaiti Fund for the Peninsula Road. But as I said, normally I don't like saying these things because people think you're bragging. And as I said, this was my job I was doing, and I was fortunate to be able to get these people to trust me and to listen to me. And so, as I said, I want to continue doing my service in a way not to be showing off.
That is good.
But effectively making sure my country benefits from being in those countries.
So, Nigeria to Saudi Arabia to Germany. From Germany,
When I was covering Austria, Switzerland, and UN agencies,
okay.
it was from Germany I went back home to the Foreign Ministry and become Director General.
So now, as Director General, you are now somebody like the overall boss of all ambassadors for Sierra Leone in our foreign mission.
Sure.
Why would Umaru Wurie, after all these years giving of himself, when he should be resting, still wants to continue being part of the solution to the Sierra Leone problem?
Well, I think you've answered my question. I want to be part of the solution to the problem of Sierra Leone. Because as a Sierra Leonean, I have no other country.
And there are many problems.
And there are many problems. And I have never liked to stay in anybody's country. I don't mind going to visit and go back. Even when I came to the United States to study, I never thought of staying, and I did not stay. I returned home. I went to Holland to do postgraduate, I returned home. I did courses in Manchester, in Bradford, I returned home. So it is my way of saying Sierra Leone is the only country I have, and therefore whatever I can do to help it, I must do it. And that is why I'm still there, trying to do the best I can.
I know you probably don't want to talk about this, and I can understand rightly why you won't talk about this, because this is a party issue. But we have had your name come up several times, that you are one of the people that will be running, that are interested in becoming vice president. I know that's a very important task, but we also understand that this is not something we want to talk about, because as a party we want to hold it dear to our, so that the leader of the party can make the decision without being pressured by anybody.
Yeah.
Why would you want to take on such a huge task, such a big position, or why would you even think about such a position?
Well, I don't think I think about such a position, but this is also one way. If you are there, you can use an influence that you already acquired. Already people know you. When you call your name, they already know who is talking, without having to introduce yourself again, over and again. But as you rightly said, this is not something really I want to talk about, simply because it is not an elective position. This is something the leader of the party will say, this is the person I want. And for me, seeing the party moving forward, when you consider our forefathers being in this party all their lives, till God took them, I don't think any one of us would like to see this party being affected one way or the other in a way that it is not working properly. So I think my main concern is to make sure that the party is in place to help our people. As they say, one country, one people. But running mate, no running mate, I think we have a role to play to help the party, and through the party to help the country. I think this is more to me than whatever people might think.
You know, looking at our conversation from the beginning to the present, what I deduce is that you come to this scene with a very strong international cloud, the kind of cloud that Sierra Leone needs to pull itself from the level of poverty it has got itself stuck in for 11 years. If, as we anticipate, things happen and the choice of vice presidency falls on you, how would you use your international cloud to ensure that we continue in the peace that we have achieved and to bring prosperity to Sierra Leone? What is in stock for Sierra Leone?
As I said, it's an area I don't want to touch still. But on the other hand, as I said, wherever I am, I'm ready to serve my country in whatever capacity.
And service you have really done to the country.
At the same time, using the connection you are talking about, you know, to bring help for the country in whatever capacity. Even today, I still know those people. I still use it one way or the other, you know, to ease things. But the choice of, as I said, running mate, we want to leave it to the leader of the party. And I only hope all of us think seriously to leave it to him to decide and not to be pressured.
And I won't ask an iota of question on that. But I want to also get back to another point. It seems, and this might be for several good reasons that you have profiled during our conversation, but you have served successive governments and have continued to build your reputation in a way that nothing has been tarnished. How did you do it? And what lessons can other politicians learn from you?
Well, I think, one, try to be content with what you're doing and try to do the best you can. And don't say, Mr. Kamara is here, I have to go to that point myself immediately. No. Because when you do that, you lose concentration. And as they normally say, you can keep a good man down sometime, but not all the time. And if you walk honestly and with a clear conscience and heart, I believe God will help you and direct you. This thing, I remember somebody asked me this question. He said, in an African setting, how can you serve successive government? You must have been a bootlicker. And I said, for me, no. I can also tell you, I don't think every government likes me, but possibly they liked what I was doing. And that is producing. If they give you an assignment, you do it well. Because I'm sure that the test the government look at you. They send you someplace and see what you do there. I mean, I'm sure if you do rubbish, however they like you, they will kick you out. And so I have told my friend that I believe, not that every government likes me, but I do believe the assignment they are giving me, I've been able to execute them well. This is why I think successive governments have used me in that capacity.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you very much.
I pray you keep producing.
Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you.
This is Ambassador Umaru Bundu Wurie, Director General and Ambassador at Large for the Republic of Sierra Leone, speaking with Abu Hassan Kuroma, publisher and editor, SLPP Today magazine. Thank you very much and good night.